Hi everyone, thanks for stopping by my channel. Today I'd like to share my Forget-Me-Not journal that I just finished. And it's a hard cover, which I layered the pale blue Dupioni silk with some vintage lace from a wedding dress. And then for the cover, I used one of the images that I did in Photoshop with a bird and a few forget-me-nots to add a little more touch of the theme. And I used some antique lace, very fine, which I added silk ribbon embroidered forget-me-nots, with a few little beads, and some pink rose silk ribbon embroidered roses. And in the corner I added one of my beaded dragonflies because dragonflies have a special meaning for me. And in each of the flower garden themed journals, I will be having the bird on there carrying a love letter. And I will be also using this new clasp closure method for me. It's new, and I learned it from Kate Space from Pixie K Designs, one of my fellow Sampool team members. I love this, such an easy, and you can adjust it. If you take out pages, you just tie the bow tighter, and if you add them, you just make it looser or larger. Okay, so this is Forget-Me-Not, and I used, I started out with Amity Bloom Sage Sky kit, and that's what inspired me to go with this color. But it kind of turned into Forget-Me-Nots the more I gathered from my stash. I just thought I'd go with this theme. And a lot of pages from Screechowl as well. And oh dear, just a variety. And in each of the journals in this series, I'm going to put in Amity Bloom's poem that she wrote. And this is in one of her newer kits, her Garden of Grace kits. And I just purchased them. There's a few of them, and it's a really neat journal kit. Anyway, this is a lovely poem, and it's going to go in the front of each of the journals. And I don't know how many is going to be in the series. I'm just going to stitch away in my garden this summer and until I get it out of my system. So anyway, on this first page, I believe this is Screechowl from about 4 years ago, and I just added a dragonfly with a stamen antenna. I love that page, it's so pretty. And the first page, this is from Amity Bloom's Sage Skies, and she puts beautiful little sayings in it, and I also used her washi tape with sayings. And she cuts them, breaks them up, and makes different sayings with them, and that's what I did here and there. And here is also from Amity Bloom, the torn pages that she has. She has, oh, there's tons of them in a kit. And there's 2 kits, I believe. And it looks like you've just torn the page, and I printed them on cardstock. But I actually cut them. Some of them I did tear, but this one I cut. And then just some Forget-Me-Not journaling cards. They're just pretty little cards. And it's tucked behind here with one of the wax seals. And then a little doily, vintage doily. And here I did a little silk ribbon embroidered Forget-Me-Not on a book page. And a library card with Forget-Me-Nots and a couple of journaling cards, the little polka dot sari. These are from Tatteredrosepaperco. I just purchased a couple of these sets, And I love her because she looks like a gardening lady, and she has like wildflowers. And I just printed off a couple of pages. I can't wait to print the rest because she has such a variety of like children and various themes, but they just look really neat. So I love those. But that is Tattered Rose Paper Company. And then of course I put some vintage lace. And also Nazi from Amity Bloom, she uses in her latest journal video, she uses a lot of the printed acetate, which I love that idea. I've used it for different things, but never really for tucks and such. And it's got her sayings on it, so I printed off some on acetate and printed a few papers and journaling card throughout the journal. This little girl's just a flip down for a secret little spot to journal. And this, I believe, is from my porch prints, I think. And just a belly band. And here's another acetate page from Amity Bloom, and just a journaling card that I backed with coffee stained paper. And this is from Sage Skies. And my friend and fellow design team member for Sam Pool, Gail Schmidt from Shabby Cottage Studio, she uses a lot, it's probably glaring all over the place, but she uses a lot of mica here and there in her journals, and I love that idea, so I started using it. I copied Gail, sorry. And I put a piece of vintage tulle and one of my, I don't know if it's sparkly, one of my dried forget-me-nots from my garden, and a little gold. And this pocket holds a little journaling card that I need to sew. It's got a little hole. This is a headscarf, a very sheer from like the 50s and 60s. And I put in some freshly dried lavender buds, so when you squish it, it's smelly, but it's a little journaling card just sewed around. But I've got to fix that, so I'm going to stick that to the side. That's just tucked down in the pocket. And a paper clip inspired by Tracy Fox, the hidden paper clip with a little dangle. And this is a little notebook. It folds out. Just coffee stained paper to jot some notes, and that pretty little card. And it just secures on here. And there's another card on the back, or not a card, but an envelope with forget-me-nots. And it's empty, so you can put your own little treasures in it, or notes, ticket stubs, whatever you want. And here's another of Tattered Rose Paper Company. This sheet of several ladies in the garden painting and reading. I love it. So I just added some book page and some sheer fabric for a journaling card. This is from Sage Skies, I believe. I use different kits of Amity Blooms, so I'm not exactly sure which goes with which kit, but if you go to her Etsy shop, you will see all of the gorgeous kits she has. And this comes, I just put the photo corners and printed this out and put this sweet little card with a little bit of forget-me-nots and some trim. But the ladies watering their garden. And it's a journaling card. It has some foxing on the back. And this was just a really quick, I needed one more paper clip. So I just folded over a piece of wallpaper and glued on a little piece of book page and a cabochon, or cameo, or it's cabochon, and just use that as a simple hidden paper clip. I can't see. There we go. And just added a sweet couple of cards with Forget-Me-Nots. And the tabs, I just printed off some Screechowl background pages with Forget-Me-Nots on them on cardstock. And I put this little piece of lace corner as a little tuck spot and added these pretty cards. They're the same, but I love them. They're so, love the color. And then another of the Tattered Rose paper with some really old, this is definitely antique lace. I've just got little bits and pieces of it, but I love using it. And then I just tore a signature and put on there. Journaling card. And I backed it in Joey's, his backing, it's like pox and vintage coffee stain paper. So I used that to back a lot of my cards because it's in, I'll have to put it underneath which kit. But I love that paper, that design, so I printed on a lot of my backing cards. And here is another, oh, that doesn't come out. That actually flips, and I just used it as a little notebook with several little lined pages. But this is another of Nazi's images for a little tuck spot. I love that. It's so pretty with the floral. And another little card or envelope. And I printed this sweet little Forget-Me-Not card. And this is an authentic calling card, but it had Forget-Me-Nots on it, so I'm going to include that. That's from my calling card collection, which I need to thin out, and a tiny little bitty crystal. That's from my friend Leslie. She sat down one day and made tons of them. And here's that little bird again. It's going to be sprinkled throughout the rest of the Garden Series journals. Once I saw a little bird, I just glued that on. And these are dyed mother of pearl buttons with some real fern, a little music piece, and some antique lace. I don't know if you can see that. Just something a little different. Oh, this is on one of those little foam things that lift the image off the page. It doesn't remove or anything, it just stays there. And some journaling space. I love this image. I just added a bit of netting and then this applique because it went so well with her hat. And this is one of Nazi's torn sheets, and I tucked in some Forget-Me-Not images. And under here, I used some handmade paper and one of Nazi's cards, and that bird again. And then did the where you push it over. I'm still learning that technique. I'm not really good at it, but I liked this, how this one turned out, so it gets to stay. And there's another Nazi torn, and it had Forget-Me-Nots, which was perfect. Oh, let's see, I think, oh dear, I don't remember whose, I just did these. I didn't write down whose they were from. They're hidden paper clips. Oh, I think it's my porch prints, I think. But it holds all these little cards that you put in here. And I believe, did I leave that open? I thought I did. I guess I didn't. Well, anyway, on both sides. And this little card slipped out. And I don't know, I didn't replace it, but I don't know where it is. So I'm going to have to, or maybe I'll just borrow from this guy and stick it over there, instead of printing out the whole page just for a card. Anyway, I just thought that was pretty. I put a little sequin edging, and it holds this, which is actually just a Katie's letter, which is an old music sheet that I just thought was pretty. I wandered by the brookside. Well, oh, grab the card. Sorry about that. Let's put that away. And here is another of the Tattered Rose Paper Company image with some of my my dried Forget-Me-Nots and some mica again, so it wouldn't be torn. Just a couple of paper or cards for journaling. And I put a little piece of baby's breath here, so I covered it in mica as well. And the other side of, oh, here's that little card. Okay. On this lace, I just added these pretty little flat backs. They just add that nice little sparkle in the sagey color. That's from Sage Skies. In the Garden of Life, that's a piece of her tape, washi tape. And another mica. Guess I went crazy with the mica this time. In that envelope, this is one of my favorite images for Forget-Me-Not, a flower girl. I did a mini journal with using her on the cover. And a journaling card. These papers are so pretty. And I used this mirror as a belly band for an envelope and a couple of pretty Forget-Me-Not themed cards. And this is a hidden paper clip, which I used from Nazzie's torn strips, and I just folded it over because I wanted this part to look like a letter, and just turned it into a hidden paper clip. And that's just washi tape that I had made with a couple bees because it's garden theme. In this envelope, I just added some Forget-Me-Not little cards. And Mayflowers. And I put it on sheer paper, tissue paper, aqua, because I'm sure some of you, depending on your age, would remember this Knick-Knack, Paddywhack, Give a Dog a Bone, this little song. When I saw that it was on the back of that, I couldn't just cover it up and glue it on a solid page, so just for fun, I did that. I thought that was cute. And since it's the month of May, that's why I put that. Anyway, I used little photo corners for this little journaling card. Another hidden paper clip with the tiny little, cute little dangle. And I just used an envelope that has a, no, I think it's empty. Yeah, it is empty. To put your own things in. Some old music paper with some journaling cards. An old poem, Forget-Me-Not poem. And this is another one of those ladies. And I just put a little tag down here, and I also covered it and sewed around it. I covered it with the sheer headscarf, the not organza, chiffon headscarf. I love the feel of them. So I tucked that up there. And another piece of mica, at which I tucked in several thin cards. And let's see, so you can see, I don't know if you can, yeah, I guess you can see her there pretty well. But it's just a pretty lady, which I printed off on here. And you can put a large card back here. But I just used this part, and I did it this way so you could see her. I love that card. probably put it there so you can see her face. There we go. Okay, stop fiddling. And that is another of Nazzie's washi tape. And yet another acetate. The light of the sky comes from you. And that just reminded me of Forget-Me-Nots. And I just added several cards for journaling. And I printed this washi tape and some more washi tape from Nazzy. And this is a strip that it was between the torn strips from Amity Bloom, and I didn't want to toss it, so I just glued it on here and thought it was kind of neat. Adds a little interest. And this little pocket is just filled with all kinds of Forget-Me-Not cards, all different sizes, and this envelope. And this, I thought that was so sweet. It came out of a children's reader, that little dog, and this little scooter. I have my mom's scooter from the I think it was 1934. I have her little scooter. I painted it pink because it was rusty, and I use it in my garden shed. And I put a little applique. Anyway, I put that, it was the size of the book, the page. I didn't want to cut it, so I just placed it in the center to use it as pockets and just filled it with some pretty Forget-Me-Not ephemera. And I love that sheer lace, not sheer, but it's very delicate lace. I know you're getting sick of it, but here's another mica. And I saw this on somebody's just recently. Maybe it was Nazzy. I think it might have been. Not the heart shape, but the, yes, it was definitely Nazzy from Amity Bloom. It was in one of her last video, I believe. Just some wild, or some dried flowers, and then her washi tape. And then some more pretty cards for journaling. I don't know why that's sticking together. There should be 3 of them. Yeah. Oh, 4, counting that. And that one, that is so pretty. It's kind of a dusty aqua. And here's a little card with a rusty paper clip. And this just holds a cardstock printed torn paper. And this I made with the young lady next door, Leah. She comes over on Fridays now and then, and we have like a little journal session. We just talk and make things and decorate our journals. So last Friday we got together, we made this. This is another one of those antiquated folds that you open up and you can journal in here. You can even hide something in here and tuck it away. But that's mine, and Leah is an amazing artist. I told her she could decorate the inside, or she could, you know, leave it plain like I did to write in. And within like 3 or 4 minutes, she had drawn a beautiful bouquet, or not a bouquet, but like a oh, what am I trying to, like a swag of flowers on hers. And it was just, so now she's trying to teach me drawing, because if you know anything about me, I can't draw. I can't draw at all. I've always wanted to draw and paint like my mother. I can't do it. I can't. And Leah can vouch for that. But I am going to try. I'm going to take my pencils and my watercolor pencils outside and into the garden on the next sunny day, because today it's rainy and super windy. And I'm going to try to draw, because she really is trying to help me. But I just don't have it. I don't have that ability. So here are some more, just a variety of journaling cards and ephemera. And a little bit French. This is her little idea I've been using, where you have that little inset metal disc that you can make cabochons out of. And I just put a vintage lady, and I do believe that little vintage lady is from Tattered Rose Paper Company. And then I added some fabric that I softened the edges. And another Amity Bloom, tattered or torn paper with a postcard. And some washi that I had printed off. And this belly band of lace just holds a little Velcro note envelope. Put something special in there. And some embossed paper, and then a large piece of pretty paper from Amity, one of her documents. And this is the piece of the old wedding lace that's on the front and back cover. And I just used it as a pocket for just a couple of journaling cards. And we have the back page, which this is a newer lace, and I just used it for a couple of sheets of pretty paper to write notes or do some journaling on. I love that bird on her finger and this bird. So that is the Forget-Me-Not journal. And I do love that little clasp idea. So thank you, Kate. Now I'm going to quickly show you the other, I'm going to be making a peach one. I'm not sure what the flower theme in this will be, but I'm going to be putting the lace around it and doing, you know, florals. So I have to think of a name, what to do with that. I'm not sure. This one's going to be wisteria. That's going to be fun. And this one, oh, if you know Dupioni, you know you're going to have a lot of threads to deal with. Anyway, I don't know what the theme of this one is going to be, but I love that soft green with these olive greens. I'll be adding some pink and yellows to that. And I have a lilac, this lady gathering lilac, so I'll be covering that with lace and doing some lilac silk ribbon embroidery. And I don't know, this one might have daisies. For some reason it just says daisies to me, but each one of these will, like I said, have the bird with a love note. And this is what I have so far. This is, of course, going to be roses. I love that. I just love that image. But this will be the background with the lace. And, of course, it'll be covered with the sheer lace, probably, most likely. So that's what I have so far. I don't know how many I'm going to do. I'm definitely going to do these, but I also think I want to do a pansy and possibly a fuchsia. I don't know. But that's going to keep me busy stitching in the garden this summer and completing some more journals. So I will be on the lookout for some more flower kits on Etsy. Oh boy. And if you know of any really neat ones of the themes that I had mentioned, please let me know, because I would love to take a peek and purchase some new ones. So thanks for stopping by and spending this time with me. And again, thank you for those who have encouraged me and stop by and watch my videos and comment, because that means a lot. It makes me want to share some more. So thanks a lot, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you. Bye-bye.